To a Mexican restaurant, you may have seen on the menu a mole, M-O-L-E, and thought, what is that? I'm going to show you what it is. It's basically a sauce that is thickened normally using either chocolate or seeds and nuts. We're going to thicken ours using chocolate. So the first thing I'm going to do is make our sauce. Moles traditionally are served with turkey or chicken. We're going to serve ours with chicken. So this pot here, I'm going to start to make my mole in and my sauce in. So I'll heat on a little bit of oil. And I want to soften in there 1 brown onion. They're quite a complex sauce, a mole. Some mole, there's about 17 ingredients that have to be in there for it to be considered a traditional mole. And some of them have up to 50, 60 ingredients in them, so they're really, really complex. A lot of them have dried fruit in there as well. So when we went to Mexico, the ones we ate there were really, really sweet. So I wasn't a huge fan of them. In with that, about a 2 centimetre block of achiote. Now, if you can't get achiote, sweet paprika, smoked paprika, about 1 teaspoon of each will get you the same result. Then I just want to cook that down. So we're going to soften our onion, soften our garlic, break up our achiote a little bit, and it will start to take on a red ochre sort of colour. While that cooks away, I'm going to prepare my chicken. So, 1 whole chicken. I want to break it down into its Marylands and its crown. So I'll take off the truss. Now, if you were roasting it as a whole, you would keep that on because it means that it's going to cook evenly. But to break this down, I'm just going to use the weight of the leg and just trim around. And as you sort of cut that, it will show you where to cut. So around behind, there's a line that runs down there. Then I'll pop that bone out and be able to cut underneath it. And you can see gravity, as I cut, does all the work for me. And off comes your Maryland. Then we've got our wings, which I want to take off. Same thing, let gravity do all the work. Cut around. Then pop again, and that bone will come out. Trim off that wing. And from there, you want to find a point in the spine where you can break it through and then take your knife. So we now have our crown or our breast, which we can roast on the bone. We have our 2 Marylands. This is what I'm going to cook. So in this pot here, heat on, I want to cook my chicken. So we've softened our onion in where we're making our mole. I've got a big bowl of boiling water here where I'm going to pop these chilies. So I'm going to toast them in this pan first, and the toasting of chilies, the toasting of dried things is always important, just to wake up the oils that have been sleeping for a little while as they've been dried. So a couple of minutes, you'll see them change colour, you'll see them puff up a little bit. They'll come out of there into our boiling water and they'll reconstitute or steep. And then we'll clean out all the seeds, clean out the veins, and then that flesh of the chili goes in with our sauce. So back to our sauce while that happens. I can add into there now our thyme, about a tablespoon of thyme, about a tablespoon of dried oregano and a couple of bay leaves. Our spices, coriander, about a teaspoon of coriander seeds, and 3 to 5 cloves. Give that a stir, again, get some heat into our spices, and then a little bit of chicken stock. About 250 mils of chicken stock, and 1 tin of crushed tomatoes. And I'll let that bubble away, do its thing, everything sort of to mix together and start to develop those flavours. I want to reduce that by probably a quarter. So just simmer that down so it starts to thicken a little bit. And that's our sauce, where it needs to be, ticking along the way we want. So back to our chilies. Starting to get some heat into them. Turn them over. Another couple of minutes on that side. And then we can pop them into the hot water. Our chilies are done. I can see they've started to change the gloss on the outside and the colour, and they're starting to puff. So out of our hot pan, into the water. to reconstitute. And then into that pan goes our chicken. So skin side down, our breasts. Then our Marylands. I'm going to cook them skin side down for about 10 minutes. Then I'll turn them over, put the lid on, and we'll roast them. My mole is done, so that can come off. Just want to fish out my bay leaves because they're not really going to blitz up that well. I'll take them out. Then pop it into a glass bowl. And that's a great little salsa just by itself. So if you just let that sit and cool down and had some totopas, some little corn chips, and wanted to sort of dip them in there, that would be beautiful. So a little bit of dark chocolate as a thickening agent. I need my stick blender. And then we'll just blitz that up until it's smooth. Cool. That's as far as I'm going to blitz that. I'm going to clean up my mess. Chicken should be done. Take the lid off. And a serving bowl for our chicken. Our Marylands. And there. And our crown. Our breast. And that. Just want to carve that. Then our mole over the top of our chicken. And finally, a little bit of coriander, which we'll just tear in there. And traditionally you'd sprinkle that with some sesame seeds, but that's it. That's our mole. Really, really, really simple sauce. Goes great with pork or chicken or turkey, as I said, traditionally chicken and turkey. And roasting a chicken on the hob.